Hi everyone, I'm trying something different on this channel. The long story short being that I created this type of video on one of my other more private channels that I specifically only use for the players and teams that I work with only. I made this video as a sort of one-off type of video during the height of the pandemic because we couldn't go outside, we couldn't train together as a team, we couldn't have any contact with each other whatsoever. And I initially made it an enlisted video at first, and then I changed it to public because 3 to 4 months ago, a lot of the players told me that they wanted easier access to it. And it's currently sitting at 8.5 thousand views at the time of this recording, with a lot of comments saying that they wanted to see more of this type of thing. And I commented on it in hopes of directing some of those viewers over here to this channel, obviously my main channel, but the promise that I would create a similar type of video to it. And so here I am, here it goes, in hopes that this video goes just as viral as the last one I did. So here it goes. Hey everyone! To be one of the best attackers in the world of modern football is no easy feat, and it takes more than just scoring and creating goals to become just that. How did Mohammed Salah become one of the most lethal attackers in world football, and what does he do in order to put himself in a position to have as many opportunities as he does? Let's slow down some of his best short highlights of his career and see if we can provide some insight to young athletes striving to become a lethal inverted winger. I should note that I will not be focusing on how he strikes the ball. I could go in depth and explain the science of where and how he strikes the ball, but I'm instead going to go over all the little things he does in order to consistently put himself in golden positions to create and score however many times he wants to. So let's get to it. One of his best attributes is his close control, his ability to manipulate the ball and the defenders around him in a way that only he wants to. In one of his goals of the season, you're going to see that he is surrounded by 3 defenders. Sure, one might say that the defending from Watford is abysmal, but there were still a lot of little nuances that Salah did that allowed him to create the space that he did. Right away, when he receives the ball, you're going to see that he opens up his hips and lets the ball roll across his body before he stops it. If he receives the ball facing this way, he immediately limits his options because he can only go one way at this point. But because he opens his body up, his avenues of escape increase, albeit still not very many options. This defender here closes him down, intelligently not allowing Salah to completely turn onto his stronger left foot. Salah reacts with a tiny touch to keep the ball a little further away. Again, it looks easy, but I can't tell you how many players I've worked with struggle to keep the ball close with each touch that they take, much less under loads of pressure like Salah is under here. He even takes a tinier second touch, which in my opinion is even harder to do. Now this third touch he takes to fake as if he is pulling the ball back completely fools this defender, and once that defender commits, Salah takes full advantage of it by bursting with speed to completely get away from the defender. I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand that once you create space with a move, you have to dribble with speed to truly beat your defender. Too many young players choose to stay at the same pace after they do a move, and it allows the defender they just beat to catch up to them. But in this case, Salah was able to completely get rid of 2 defenders just by bursting into the space he created. Now once you create space out of nothing, defenders at this point are in panic mode, especially around their own goal. Salah knows this and gets his defender to completely commit to the block and then cuts back onto his stronger left foot for a very composed curler to the far post. One might say that the defender should know better than to commit to a block on a very tight angle on the attacker's weaker foot, but I can promise you that no defender is thinking about that much in half a second of time. The best defenders in the world are the ones who are able to stay calm and composed like that, but more often than not, most defenders are in total panic mode once you beat them into space exactly like this. In this next clip, you'll see that he's in a bit more space. Right away, you can tell that he wants to get away from the defender and dribble onto his left foot where there is space. Once he gets away, watch and see how he doesn't keep running at the same angle. He moves and positions his body so that his feet are completely square with the next defender first. The reason for this is because if he keeps running at the same angle that he initially was, it makes it too easy for the next defender to read and cut him off. But instead, he squares his defender up and forces his defender to guess which way he is going to go, causing the defender to be completely on his heels. A little hesitation and body shift to the right opens up more space on Salah's left for him to get around the defender. Again, once you beat a defender and dribble quickly into the space that you created, defenders are in panic mode at that point, much like this third defender is here. The space that Salah created for himself after beating the second defender forces the third defender to commit to a block because of the threat of the shot, and that's all Salah needs in order to go around him. Salah knows all of this already and just takes one more touch around the defender to get his shot off. Yeah, he was fortunate that the shot took a major deflection, but it was everything leading up to it that provided the opportunity for him to get the shot off in the first place. This next clip didn't end up in a goal, but again, it's about how he created the opportunity for himself. Right away, again, you can see that when he receives the ball, he receives it by opening up his hips. Then he stops the ball and patiently waits for his feet to become completely square with his defender again. This forces the defender to be completely on his heels again because he has to guess which way Salah might go. Add in a little stutter hesitation step and Salah is able to create a little space onto his favorite left foot. He moves quickly into that space again. The defender is in panic mode at the threat of the shot because it's Salah's stronger foot. Salah knows this and calmly rolls the ball back across to his right side and then dribbles quickly into the space again. Once he finds space, he uses his small touches again to keep full control of the ball. Quickly shifts the ball just a little bit to the left and tries a difficult shot by leaning to his right to open his body up to curl the ball into the far post with his left foot. It doesn't generate the power he wanted, but it was an opportunity regardless. One of Salah's most underrated attributes is his strength and willingness to always keep a defender on his backside, much like he does here in one of his other goals of the season against Manchester City. Watch this and immediately notice how he's able to keep Cancelo on his back with his first touch. He takes a decent first touch that doesn't allow Foden to help Cancelo right away, and then watch again how quickly Salah shifts his body from one side to the other to doubly make sure that Cancelo will have no say in the situation whatsoever. Now once he takes Cancelo out of the situation, the next defender to completely neutralize is Phil Foden. See, now Salah knows this, and just watch how his immediate instinct is to lean in towards Foden in order to take him out of the situation as well. This provides Salah just enough time to be able to react to whatever Bernardo Silva decides to throw at him. Silva commits to the ground to try and block off Salah's ability to get onto his left foot, so Salah uses that to his advantage and goes towards his right instead. Now, before completely committing to his right foot, Salah decides to shift the ball a little bit towards his left to get Laporte to think that he's created just enough space for a shot with his left. With the defender being in panic mode once again, which is what we talked about before, because of the space that Salah created for himself, Salah uses that to his advantage and goes back to his right foot, completely turning his defender around for a powerful shot with what's supposed to be his weaker foot. Like I said, this is one of Mo Salah's more underrated attributes to his game, and a very important one at that as well. Too many young players are too instinctive when it comes to pressure and or contact in this game. At any semblance of pressure, young players want to try and get the ball away from them and think that clearing the ball or quickly getting it to the first person that they see is the correct option. Sometimes just learning how to put your body in between the ball and the defender is all you need to do, because you'll immediately be putting your defender in a bad situation. When that happens, more often than not, you'll be able to relieve pressure for your team by drawing a foul, or you'll eventually find space if you're patient enough to pass into or dribble into. Keeping a defender on your backside is also a great way to stall for time when you're waiting for your teammates to come and support you, like Salah does here. Right away in this clip, you can tell that he's a bit isolated and alone with his defender. Once he's able to control the ball, he doesn't become impatient by trying to beat the defender by turning and facing him up. This defender wants Salah to do that. The moment that Salah turns, the defender will pounce hard on the fact that nothing is protecting the ball anymore. But because Salah remains patient, he keeps himself in between the ball and the defender, forcing the defender to really test his patience and wait too long for an opportunity. Salah waits and waits before he finally gets a little support from his teammates. The little overlapping run is all Salah needs to bait a backheel pass to get the defenders to think that he's going to play his teammate, and then finally find some daylight. There's not much to say about this next clip, just me emphasizing the fact that if you do well enough to keep a defender on your backside, more often than not, defenders will foul you whether they mean to or not. Before the ball is even on the ground, Salah is already trying to keep the defender on his back, so the defender has to work even harder if he wants to win this 50-50. Even before Salah is able to fully bring the ball under control, he is still making sure that this defender is nowhere near the ball to give himself the best chance possible to win the ball. When Salah eventually brings the ball down for himself, he keeps the ball as far away from the defender as possible with the sole of his foot. The defender tackles from behind, and Salah is able to earn his team a foul when the odds were pretty much stacked against him in this play, and now his team is able to move up the field with this free kick freely. As a forward, it's so important to figure out how to move without the ball as much as it is important to move with the ball at your feet. This next clip is a very simple movement. Just look at how flat this backline is right now. This type of defensive shape should make forwards' mouths water because it's so easy to run in behind. Salah recognizes this, but also knows that he can't get in behind by himself because all eyes are on him at the moment he receives the ball. All it takes is one pass to Origi, and now all eyes move away from him. Once that happens, coupled with the fact that the entire backline is so flat, Salah uses this opportunity to do a simple give and go. So simple and yet so effective, yet it takes a long time for young players to understand this concept. Take the eyes off of you for 1 second and it'll make your job so much easier to do what you want to do. Origi does well to creatively loop the ball over the defenders' heads, and all Salah has to do is tuck the ball away into the corner of the goal. This next clip is a lot more subtle. Right away, Sadio Mane is dribbling towards Salah. Quite obviously, Salah is slowly peeling further away as Mane gets closer and closer to him. It might seem obvious, but young players need to understand why it's so important to travel as the ball travels. If he stays here, it's only going to clog Mane's already clogged space, but because he's out here, at the very least, he gives his teammate a chance to attempt something because this defender here can't fully commit to either Mane nor Salah. Because that defender is not fully committing to either Mane or Salah, Mane is able to attempt a sort of prayer of a shot, but because Salah took the preemptive measures to peel out a little wider, the ball is able to fortunately deflect right into his path and intelligently squares the ball right across the 6-yard box for a Firmino tap-in. In the last clip of the video that I'm going to show all of you, here they are on the counter-attack after winning the ball back from deep inside their own half. A wonderful ball gets played into Coutinho and it's off to the races for everyone. But it's not just a simple straight line drive from Salah. The first thing he does is make his initial run a little wider to keep this defender honest and away from the middle. Now watch the patience Salah shows as he continues to keep his width until this central defender here starts stepping up to press Coutinho. If you slow down and pause the footage yourselves, Salah starts moving into the space the literal moment the central defender even thinks about stepping up into Coutinho. And then Salah runs into the gap in between those two defenders that he created for himself just by initially starting his run a little bit wider, and Coutinho does well to find him right in that gap. Now from then on, once he received the ball from Coutinho, there really wasn't much else he could have done except to attempt the quick shot before being closed down by the defender. But these are the types of thought processes that go through a world-class forward's head within milliseconds of a game that allow Salah to create the opportunities that he does. To be one of the best attacking players in modern football today takes more than just being able to strike a ball. There are a lot more little nuances that the best players in the world are able to think about and do that I think we as fans sometimes take for granted. We love watching the insane highlights of 30-yard screamers or a player's ability to take on 4 defenders at once and create an opportunity afterwards, but when you take a moment to slow down and dissect what each of these world-class players do, you realize that the game can be just as simple as they make it seem if you practice these little things yourself. Sure, the pure technical ability and the physical prowess might be something you have to work hard for, but the little nuances and the intelligence are what you can practice on your own or with your team. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and were able to gain some type of insight from it. If you want to see more of this kind of video, like the video up and hit the subscribe button, and use the comment section to tell me which player you would like to see analyzed next. Thanks to everyone, and remember that it never gets easier, you just became better.